Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I will be talking about the downsides to dual enrollment and community college, even though I would 110% recommend going to community college for the first 2 years of your education. I absolutely enjoyed mine and I think that it was very beneficial, but there are still downsides to taking it. For one, transferring can be difficult, and this is for the admissions process. In the community college that I was in, we basically the entire state was funneling students to go to this one university, and all the high school policies for graduation as well as community college policies were really specific to the admissions policies for this one university. And the admissions process for that specific university was rather difficult for community college students because they lacked funding that they once had, and so they didn't have as much money to admit community college students anymore, and it was just the students who took dual enrollment and graduated high school with their associate's degrees that would be taking the place of those students. So if you wanted to transfer into that university, you had to be the cream of the crop. They had a pretty different policy than the university that I'm going to now. So you have to do the research on the school that you're going into, go to as many transfer seminars as you can, talk to the admission staff for the university that you want to go to if you're dual enrollment or community college, because you do not know whether or not you may be wasting your money for an application fee. So do your research. The next thing, number two, and this is specifically for dual enrollment, is that there might be some emotional immaturity when you are going into community college or dual enrollment. If you're 16 years old going into a general chemistry class, which is what happened to me when I was in dual enrollment, I was at least a year or two younger than the other dual enrollment students that were there, and the person sitting next to me was 24 years old. So I was still very much a high school student, and I would say that you still need to be emotionally mature when you're doing dual enrollment or doing community college classes, because everyone else in there is an adult. You're not going to be a successful student if you cannot relate to everyone in the classroom. So if your intellect is there, if you are well beyond your years, let's say you were 10 years old and you knew how to do vector calculus and logarithms and all those things, you're not going to be as successful in college if you can't relate to everyone. There's a lot of things that require just being alive for a certain number of years on this planet that will help you relate to other people, and other things are, experience. But don't beat yourself up if you're not, 15 years old and graduating with your PhD, like you see with those news, those small news things of students who do incredibly well and they're incredibly young. There's no shame in starting college when you're 21. If you need to work a few years to save up, there's no shame in doing that. You need to have that emotional maturity in order to succeed in your classes. Number three, transfer shock to university is very much real. I thought that was stupid when I was starting to transfer to university, and you just need to apply yourself to the work and do well. But really, it's a different culture at university. There's people who have already made friend groups, and if you've been in community college, you may have a friend for a semester or a quarter that you're never going to see again. And maybe you connected really well, but it was only just for that one quarter of calculus or that one semester of English. And in the university, when you're in the same degree program as other people, you're creating those friendships that are going to last for 4 years. And if you're jumping into that right at the 2-year mark or the 3-year mark, people may not be, it's not that people aren't as willing to have their, to open up their friend groups, but there are already established organizations, whether official or unofficial on campus, that just didn't occur at community colleges. So if you don't want that to happen, you may want to just go to the 4-year university right away. My fourth thing is that some of the classes that you may take may not have the same rigor as the university level. So I would talk to a lot of my friends who transferred in from a community college, and they said that their organic chemistry class was a joke, or Their general chemistry class was a joke. If you can't already tell, I'm into chemistry. I have an associate's in chemistry, an associate of science in chemistry, and I am studying to get my bachelor's in chemical engineering. My community college with chemistry and organic chemistry was very rigorous. In fact, it was more rigorous than one of the other universities. I actually failed organic chemistry twice. All three quarters I failed it, and I had to retake it. I already knew how organic chemistry worked, but a lot of my other friends, they have no idea what I'm talking about when I say oh, it's this reaction with that. Oh, of course this is acid catalyzed already. I already wrote that down right here. Because their community colleges didn't have the same rigor as my community college, and their community college would not have the same rigor with organic chemistry as the university level. So this also goes to the transfer shock, but some of your classmates, when you're transferring into university and your community college classes were maybe a joke, they may know a lot more and do way better in classes than you do because your professors, or your instructors I should say, from community college didn't prepare you as well. For number 5, this is specifically for dual enrollment. You may lack some resources to be successful. The main resource that I would be talking about is a car to safely drive to and from campus to make office hours, because it's not like in high school when I don't know how your high schools were like, but with my high school, we basically had an hour or 30 minutes in the morning and some, an amount of time in the afternoon or during lunch. And it's very structured in high school to talk to your teachers. In community college, it's very different, and in normal university, it's different. Your professors have office hours, and if you're doing dual enrollment, you're doing it because you don't have enough money. You want to save money for school, for university, and if you're 16 or 17 years old and you're only you're less than 5'6" like me, you want to make sure that you're safe. And the place that I was going to for school, the college was by itself was great, but there were a lot of crazies on the bus, and you didn't want to ride the bus too late, otherwise you'd encounter a lot of different people. The safety concern is always your main concern, but you may not have a time that works for you with your professor's normal office hours, and so you may need to set up an appointment that's outside of that normal range. And if you don't have a safe resource to get to and from those office hours, because you will need to attend office hours, if you don't have a safe transportation, you will not be successful. Another thing is that books can be pretty expensive, and so those are just the things that are going to occur with doing dual enrollment. You have to take into account that your safety should be your number one priority, and if that hinders you from being successful in school, you may want to reconsider doing AP. Number 6, if your high school has a robust AP program, it may be advantageous to do AP or IB versus doing dual enrollment. This just goes back to the part where I said that dual enrollment classes or community college classes may be a joke compared to university. And if your AP courses are, if you have a lot of AP courses at your high school or a lot of IB courses at your high school, it might be better to do that than doing dual enrollment, just because you can transfer those much more easily to different universities than some community college classes. With AP, you want to make sure that you are going to take the AP exam. Your college credit will count only if you take the AP exam, not if you just take the class. Now, number 7, the number of credit hours that you transfer can be a lot, and that can jeopardize your standing at uni. So let's say if you're a freshman at the university of whatever your state is, and you failed a class, many times it will just be like, oh, you're a freshman, you'll learn. They're just trying to break you in order to get into the, used to the university. But if you transfer from community college into university, and let's say you are a senior standing, and then you've got that transfer shock and you fail a class, it's basically like, okay, please leave. You're a senior, you shouldn't be failing classes. And that's just the hard reality of transferring into university. So keep that into account, that you really need to work extra hard when you are transferring into university. Now, number 8, not everything may transfer depending on your university's policies. So some universities will only limit a certain number of credits that can transfer. Other universities are a little more lenient in that you just need to complete X number of hours in order to at that university in order to graduate if you transferred. So be mindful of the of what classes you're taking at your community college, so that you don't end up wasting a ton of money anyway. In my case, I went to a quarter system school and went to a semester system school, and they basically counted all my quarters as like semesters, and so I had an extremely high number of hours, and I had senior standing. So even though like I'm still technically a sophomore in my university classes, that's just something that you need to consider when you're transferring. And then my ninth thing is that retake classes can really screw you over depending on your university's policies. So the university that I wanted to go to, my dream school, their university policy for transferring with retake classes is that they will just evaluate retake classes using your community college's same policies. Some other universities, they don't do that. Some universities will count withdrawal classes as Fs, and so you really want to research that. And there's no such thing as too much communication when you're talking to admissions counselors and the department chairs of your university that in the degree that you want to go to. So these are my 9 downsides of doing community college courses. I would still always recommend doing community college. It saved me a ton of money. It helped me learn a lot with more one-on-one teacher to student time. And so I would still always recommend community college, but it may not be the best decision for a lot of people. So I hope this helps you with your decisions to do college in the fall. I will always recommend community college, but if some things aren't in place that that I mentioned, and there are a lot of other things that I probably didn't mention that are still downsides to doing community college. Like I said, community college is great. It will save you a ton of money, but it may be advantageous for you to just work for a year or two or go straight into the university. So I hope this helps you, and I will see you in my next video.